Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys a simple and fun kind of project that you can do to make an Easter basket for Easter here as we're approaching that in spring. And it's actually just the traditional basket. And there's a couple different variations and ways you can kind of tweak it and make it different. If you guys want to go back and look at the videos for those, that's fine too, but I'll also go through the steps again here just to remind you guys of how to make things. I think the fun thing with this kind of a project is all the different kind of color variations you can make, different sizes, different kinds of lengths for the handle. I've gone ahead just here and made one with some of that Basil craft paper that's about 30 by 30 centimeters, and this is the size basket you get. You know, that'll hold a big egg would fit in there real nice. And then you can just change up anything here with the different colors. The main base, as you can see here, is purple. These extra petals, you could mix them up. You could do 2 of pink and 2 of white or something like that. You can make your handle match the basket or do a different color like I did here. This is the shorter style handle that's just like what's the traditional video of origami for the basket itself. You can have it without the handle too. It's really easy to add or to leave it off as well. And there's a couple different ways of folding these little petal areas here too, depending on the kind of pattern you want to have, and also kind of depending on, you know, if this paper, for example, you know, you see color on both sides, so it doesn't really create a pattern or design in any way from that. But just to kind of give you guys an idea of something a little bigger that you could make with this. I would really recommend, if you are going to make something big, you need to use thick, strong paper. The bigger you get things, if you use still regular origami paper, even though they do make origami paper that is, you know, 30 by 30, it's real flimsy. It's not going to hold its shape as well as you might like it to. So folding something like this can be pretty hard, though. You definitely need to use a ruler or something to get good creases. Same thing if you're using something like construction paper. You want to make sure you're getting a good solid crease on each of the parts. That'll help keep everything together. And you might even find that you need to kind of leave everything smashed under a book for a little while to keep it flat and get the creases set so you can make things the way you want it to be. This particular handle, let's see here, I don't know. Yeah, if you pull on it, it's probably going to pull out. So if you put something too heavy in the basket, there's a slight chance that your handle will pop off, which is not so great. So you might want to, you know, consider putting a bit of glue or tape or reinforcing this. You could even, you know, pull up on the other side and try to kind of staple it underneath maybe before you pop open everything. But I'll show you guys some of the steps too as we put stuff together. Let me put this guy to the side. I was just going to show you guys and remind you how to make this with just some regular taunt paper that I have here. I was going to make the basket purple and then my handle blue just because I thought those were some pretty fun colors. This is the base here that I've already made one of. You wind up making 2 of these and then cutting one so that you can add them to as the petals to everything. If you're a die-hard origami fan and you're like, scissors are blasphemy, blah, 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 then what you can do is there's a way to avoid scissors by cutting the paper first. I don't think that's cheating. If you cut the paper first and you basically start off with, you know, 4 smaller pieces that are 7.5 by 7.5, and you fold each one of these into this little section that you need, then that's not cheating. But if you want to save yourself some time, I would recommend folding it and then just cutting here across those seams so that you get those 4 extra pieces. So just a hint, if you want to be able to say you didn't use any scissors, then you can go the route of starting with 2 different size sheets of paper. One that's your main size and then another 4 that are 1/4 of the paper size that you used. So just sort of a tip if you want to kind of get away with that. I personally think it's a giant waste of time just to say that I didn't use scissors, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it this way. What you want to do is make sure if you have a pattern or a texture that you want to consider the front. This has more texture, so I'm going to put that on the bottom. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold my paper in half, both horizontally, vertically, and then also I want to do some diagonal creases too by folding it into a big triangle and do the other way as well. And that way you can get everything smoothed out. Then flip it over and I'm going to fold each of these 4 corners into the center. And if you were using double-sided paper, this would be the white side, for example, that you'd be seeing here. Open everything up and fold it back over again. Then I'm going to do the door base by folding each of these sides into the center. We'll do this side first. Get one of each side going into the center. And these are just some preliminary creases to make everything collapse a little easier. Open it up, turn it 90 degrees, and do the same thing the other way. So essentially we're separating the paper into 1/16, and you're also creating just those basic 4 creases of both horizontal, vertical, and the 2 diagonal creases. So you have something that looks like this. If you look at it like a diamond, fold in on those creases we just made, you get this little part that sticks up here. Smush that down into a diamond shape. Make sure it smooths out into a nice even shape. Turn it a little to the side and do the same thing over here. Turn it all the way around, and these last 2 you can do together. Just get these started and then get them both folded down. I think sometimes it helps too to go ahead and turn it over and just get good push on all of these sides to get all the creases smoothed out, because it's easy to accidentally snag on those flaps. Now I want to go ahead and just focus on one of these little areas. So I like to just kind of unfold things so that I have a smoother surface to work with. You don't have to do that. You can try to leave it all folded up if you want. But I'm going to just fold the top of this little flap that you see here straight up, put it back down again, then take the tip of that and fold it right up to that edge, and then just roll it straight up. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. As you can see in some of the variations of some other videos, you can leave this up and try to create a tiny tab by folding in half. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. I'm just going to stick to this kind of a way with that wider band there at the top. Then you want to take each of these sides and tuck them behind. And the easiest way to do that is to first fold this part over, and then take this bottom outer edge here and fold it into the center. You don't want to make it exactly on the center crease, because what you want to be able to do is open this back out without causing too much strain on the paper here. And as you deal with thicker paper, it's really important to make sure you don't make that crease too close to the center, just for that reason, because things do get kind of tight, and then if you put too much strain or pressure, it may not fold and lay flat the way you want it to. So make sure when you open everything up, it still is a nice smooth surface. And then you want to just repeat those steps for the other 3 sides, folding things back together where you need to so that you can get things started off here and just fold up. And this can be a fun project to do for if you're making like lots of little baskets. You can have people help you just do this step of making this first part, and then that makes putting all the other baskets together a little easier. But it's not too hard of an origami if you're kind of new to origami, I would say. So I'm just going to keep going around here and finish off so that I get all 4 of these sides folded over. And you want to just try to get nice points, but don't worry about it too much, because in this one we wind up actually folding those points underneath to create the opening of this box. So don't worry too much if things aren't so perfect right in the center. It's okay, because that's actually going to disappear. So you could be a real diehard and make sure everything is exactly perfect all the time, or you can kind of learn the model and know where you don't necessarily have to be exactly perfect for the folds. You could kind of let it go a little bit. It can be pretty time consuming to have to make every single crease exact. So, but you get something like this, and like I said, I've made 2 of those, and then you could choose which one you want to be the outer base of your box or basket. I want to make my basket actually this dark purple, so this is the piece I'm going to cut. I'm going to go ahead and just cut straight across this crisscross of center creases, and you should wind up making 1 cut here, 1 cut here, and then 1 cut here. And then you just take each of these little tabs and stick it right into between the other 2. And these should kind of line up as close as possible. You should be able to find this little area here that lifts up, this tab. And it's thick because it's got the under part as well. And you can see how much strain and kind of dimpling of the paper we get there. You want to just push that, make sure you get it smooth as much as you can so that you can try to create a crease that goes between both of these sides. And then you can kind of smooth this out. We're going to tuck it right in here, and this can be a little tricky, but you need to kind of get it started and push it in there as much as you can to get a nice secured area. And that really holds this tab in. It's not going to come out. You got a nice secure location there for that. And you just go around and you do this for the other 3 sides, and it'll help give you this kind of cute little sunflower look. And you know, these would look so pretty with, you know, really nice sunflower colors too, if that was something you wanted to use. But for Easter, you figure pastels, purples and pinks and stuff are always good. So let me get this here. And that part is definitely the hardest when you're doing with the thicker paper, this step right here, folding this up, because making that big crease right there can be really hard. So make sure you take your time. With regular paper, it doesn't go that hard, and you can kind of go through it pretty quickly. But so I've got that kind of going there. So that's the completed base box. Now, what is usually recommended is using the same size paper that you used for your base box here. You want to just fold everything in half and then open things up and fold into the center again here. And there's a couple different ways you can make this handle. It depends on which way you like things to look, but you want to fold the stuff into the center here and then fold into the center again. And do the same thing on this side. If you're using thicker paper, I didn't use all of this sheet of paper. I used a half because I felt I had enough. Because once you've gotten this all folded in half, you've got a nice thick handle. And you know, you don't really necessarily need to do that when you're working with, you know, the Brazil paper. This is actually just a half a sheet of paper that I'd used. But you get something like this, and then you just put it into the sides that are the true box base. So in my case, it's this darker purple color. So I'm just going to slide that in to each side here. And try to keep this as round as you can by smoothing it out a little bit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and push out the bottom a little bit. And you want to get to these parts where the darker side is, and you're just going to put a little pressure on each of these 2 sides, pinch it together underneath to kind of make that area pop out. And you're just going to go around and do that for the 4 darker purple sides, in my case, the base color of your box. Just pinch it out, and if you do this with a nice little pinch, you should naturally get to a point, and this is a little off, obviously. The base was a little strange in one side, but if you pinch and work with it, you should be able to get a nice little perfect square, and then you've got these nice petals on the other side, and you've got your finished little basket with your handle. And like I said, this is just a simple way to make that handle. You know, you could make the handle longer, too. I've got one here that I started making with some of this neat Aurora color paper, and I made my box with this darker purple and kind of a white, and the texture itself is kind of fun for this. But then I took the strips that you'd make from, you know, folding the paper and then cutting it into long strips, and I taped a couple together. I thought I'd go ahead and just kind of create a neat little weave of this, or not really a weave, just more of a wrapping. If you start off a piece of this and then you get it at the right angle, you can get a tiny bit of that white to reveal underneath too. And then just fold and crease as you go, giving yourself a chance to get this part wrapped around. And I did, you know, tape or glue together, tape together actually, an extra piece of paper as I did this. But you just want to keep kind of working your way around here. And if you wanted to eliminate some of this, you know, spoofing up of this, you could put glue or double-sided tape. But I'm just going to keep working my way around here and get this going because I want it to just be sort of open feeling to it if I can. And it actually is 2 pieces for the base, and then I use these 3 pieces for the longer blue part that I'm using here. But you can kind of see the effect you get from rolling this around. And then I get to the back here, I can just tape that off. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and add a little security. Like, I don't really necessarily want to put a whole bunch of tape. You can kind of play around and decide with what kind of paper you're using and how strong it is. I'm just going to go ahead and put, this is the back side of my handle. I'm going to put some tape right along the back here just to give me a little extra hold to things and to keep it flat. And, you know, in this case with this paper too, the tape doesn't really even hold that well, but I just want to give myself a little extra strength to some of this if I can. Make sure things don't shift on you later. It's kind of squeaky, sorry about that, you guys. But I have a nice big handle now, and you know, I'm just going to kind of curve it around and give myself a little space for that so that it'll come up. And it's not really that solid thickness that you're getting. It's a little flimsier because it's only one layer of paper. So you can kind of see the results of that and see if you need something, if you make it really long, a lot longer, like some Easter baskets have a really tall handle, you might need to put a little backing of some thicker paper behind this or something to support it. I think this will hold okay on its own. And again, you can just slide this in here. And this time, because it's so thin, it doesn't slide in as nicely as it would when it's really thick. So give it a little second to get in there. And then you can go ahead and do this one too. And then pop this open too. And this Aurora paper was a little hard to fold. So, you know, some papers are going to take it really well. Other ones, maybe not so much. So you can kind of play around with it and see. But you can kind of get an idea of the effect you get from this. And in this case, you can even, because it's kind of flimsy, you can even put a little crease to finish off this securing here. Just kind of crease it against that edge so that you can get a nice rounded piece here to the top. Creates a nice big basket. And, you know, like I say, you could do that crease on any of these handles or leave them the way they are, too. I'm going to maybe just give a little one on this one. But on the big one, I really don't think I need it. I think this is good enough. So, lots of different variations for baskets, then, that you guys can make for Easter. And, you know, using different materials, using different kinds of papers, different handle styles. Just so many different fun ways that you can kind of play around with this. It's one of my favorite traditional origamis, and there's so many ways that you can use it, and it can really be a nice little extra touch for people for this holiday season. So I hope you guys can enjoy, and I'll have some more fun projects to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again so much for watching. Bye.